Good evening. Good evening and welcome to the Clayton County Regional Science and Engineering Fair. My name is Dr. Chris Robinson, K-12 Science Coordinator for the Clayton County School System. My colleague on the stage is Ms. Janetta Greenwood, the District Lead Science Content Specialist for the Clayton County School System. First, we would like to thank you all for attending our program this evening. Mrs. Greenwood and I would like to express our sincere appreciation to the Clayton County Board of Education, our Superintendent, Ms. Jackson, Deputy Superintendent, Ms. Hubbard, and our Chief Academic Officer, Dr. Oladelli, for their continued support of the Clayton County Regional Science and Engineering Fair.
Good evening. I have been given the great honor of introducing our keynote speaker for this evening. Dr. Kola is the assistant professor in the George W. Woodruff School of Mechanical Engineering and the School of Materials Science and Engineering at the Georgia Institute of Technology. He received his degrees from Vanderbilt University and Purdue University, all in mechanical engineering, and was a starting fullback on the Vanderbilt football team as an undergrad. Dr. Kola has received several prestigious early career research awards, including the Presidential Early Career Award for Scientists and Engineers, PCASE, in 2012 from President Obama for his work in nanotechnology, energy, and outreach to high school art and science teachers and students. In addition to research and teaching, Dr. Kola is the founder of Carbice Nanotechnologies, which sells materials to cool electronics. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Dr. Kola.
I want to first thank Dr. Robinson and Ms. Greenwood for inviting me to be with you this evening, to be a part of this ceremony, to recognize what is truly a special part of an experience in a community. Because we started out, Dr. Robinson, having students give a round of applause to parents. We give a round of applause to the students, and it really is a partnership. And a lot of what I'm going to talk about today is my story, the things that happened before I got to Georgia Tech, things that happened before I got awards and got an opportunity to meet President Obama. That a lot of that goes back to just working on science projects like a lot of you students have been working so hard on with my parents, with my dad, and bouncing ideas off of siblings as well. So with that, I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about my story. So about 3 years ago now, just a little less than 3 years ago, I got the honor to go to the White House and meet President Obama and be recognized with about 90 other scientists that are early in their careers for things that I had done in my research. I mean, this was a great honor for me. You get to go into the East Room, you get to see the President Obama's cool walk. When they rolled out that red carpet, you got to wait 3 hours for it, but when at the end of that 3 hours, that cool walk is worth it. But it was my fourth year as a professor at Georgia Tech, and sitting in the White House shaking the president's hand, there was no way that when I was in your situation as a student that I would even imagine that being part of my life. So my story starts in Pensacola, Florida. That's where I'm from. It's a town known for football. It's where Hall of Fame football players are born, Emmitt Smiths and Derrick Brooks. So every boy my age wants to be a football star. So that's what I did. So for me, football was first. But at the same time, I had an interest in math and science. And I had a father who supported that interest. And when I was in middle school, actually, he put a whiteboard in my room. And I used to share a room with my brother. How many of you kids share a room with a sibling? All right, so my father was never shy about stoking the fire of competition between me and my brother. We're separated by about 2.5 years. So he put a whiteboard in the room, and he put a math problem on that board in the morning, and whoever would solve it correctly didn't have to wash the dishes that night. All right, so here I am. I want to be a famous football star, and at the same time, I cared about math and science, and it was interesting to me. I went on to high school. I was a star in my high school. I won some awards for all Big Six, all this and that, and I thought I was pretty big stuff. And when it was time to go to college, because of my interest in math and science and also football, I decided I wanted the challenge of going to a place like Vanderbilt University that was going to be tough academically, but at the same time, it's the SEC, right? These are the giants, the kings of college football. So for me, it was a place where I thought I could compete at the highest level in both of my passions. Now, if you look closely at this picture, you can see that I didn't quite look like the typical SEC football player at the time. Now, I didn't get offered a scholarship. I was invited to walk on, which basically means that they really didn't want me on the team. But I was okay with that because I had a partial engineering scholarship, and I was pretty confident in my abilities. But I really needed a scholarship to come back and play my second year. So it was kind of a risk that I took in doing that. But after some time, the first semester there was pretty rough. Coaches make sure that when you show up looking like I'm getting way ahead of my story. When you show up looking like this, they make sure you do a lot of extra running after practice and eventually get you looking like this. So it took about 8 months, and I think I lost about 40 pounds and then regained about 15 pounds of muscle. And finally, in the second semester of my freshman year, my chest was finally sticking out further than my stomach. So I thought I was pretty hot stuff. But in chasing this football dream, I had a pretty good spring practice that year, and I was on my way to potentially earning a scholarship. And the day before I was supposed to meet with the coach to discuss this scholarship, I went to shoot some hoops with some friends. And my friends and we used to do that just to relax. It was something to relax me. And I was in shape now, nice and athletic. I'm moving around on the court. In one play, I jump up and I get above the rim, and I fall down and I hit the ground for probably the third or fourth time that game, which wasn't an unusual thing. Besides the fact that this time on the way down, I landed on someone's foot, and I heard a pop in my knee as I came down. All right, so it was almost like it happened in slow motion, and my knee was swollen to the size of a grapefruit within 2 minutes. And I hobbled over to the training office to go see the football trainers to see if they could help me. And it was like 3 days of time passed as the doctors were just rapid firing, telling me all these things, and eventually they tell me that I tear this thing called an anterior cruciate ligament, an ACL. I didn't know what that was at the time, but what I heard loud and clear from them was that it was something that was going to require a year's worth of rehab, and I was going to miss out on football and miss out on the scholarship. And the next day when I met the coach, he was very sorry for me, but he couldn't offer me a scholarship. So despite the financial challenges, I came back to Vanderbilt my sophomore year, and I took a job as an equipment manager, which, if you ever played any sports, you know that there's a big difference in status between the football player and the equipment manager. And so I had to swallow my pride to do that. But I needed the money, and it was a good paying job, and it was something that would allow me to stay in school and kind of work towards my goal. One of the side effects of this is that being a little bit depressed because of that situation, I was approached by a professor that invited me to do research. And I was looking for anything to kind of pass my time, to not think so much about being an equipment manager when I wanted to be a football star. And I picked up research. And that was where I first was introduced to the idea of working independently like you did on your projects because I didn't do a science fair project when I was younger, to actually take something and have ownership of it and see the fruits of that labor produce something that's useful for people, for their amazement, or for society. Right? So that second year I was at Vanderbilt, I had this introduction to research. I rehabbed every day to recover from my injury. And that summer, I went into the weight room and I started pumping iron, and I was curling 100 pounds with each arm at that point. I was probably about 250 pounds as a fullback. And I switched to this position, fullback, because I thought I had a good chance to play. So I come back my junior year, I quit the equipment staff stuff, I put my research on hold, and I say, I'm gonna chase this football dream again. And I come out, I'm in this new position, I'm doing really well in practice, my teammates are impressed at how well I'm doing, and about halfway through the season, I still didn't get an opportunity from the coaches to play, because despite what people tell you, sometimes you just don't get a fair shot. And I never got a fair shot, and I was a little disheartened. About halfway through the season, I was running in practice, and I ran an out route, right? So, as you know, football, it's kind of you're fullback, you run out, you kind of go out to the flat, to the near the sideline. And in the process of doing this, the cornerback came up, as they commonly do in that play, and they bumped me on my shoulder, and my knee collapsed. And I heard the same familiar pop that I heard my freshman year, but this time I knew that my football career was over. So it was hard to deal with that, but I went back to the equipment staff in this position here, and I became the head equipment manager. So I got a promotion. I had experience with that. But I picked up research again too. But this time I picked up research with a cool professor who was working on cool stuff. He was making diamond at the nanoscale. He was taking atoms, about 10 atoms of diamond particles basically, putting them together, and he could produce electricity from wasted heat. And I thought that was the coolest thing. So I got deep into this research. I carried it into my senior year. I was the head equipment manager. And one of the things about being an equipment manager on any sports team, whether the Falcons or the Bulldogs or Attack, is that you get all the juicy gossip when you're in the equipment room. That's where all the news comes first. So happens my senior year, if you all watch SEC football, in recent years, besides this last one, Vanderbilt's been pretty good, but when I played, we didn't win a lot. And the coach was getting fired. So I hear this, the coach is getting fired, and then I hear they start discussing who the new coach is gonna be. And so basically, I hear that there's a coach that's coming in that's gonna be favorable to fullbacks. And I start thinking about chasing this dream one more time, right? And I probably was a little bit crazy to do that, but for those of you that have dreams, you know how sometimes it's really hard to let that go. So I decided to go back out, and I go into the coach's room when this new coach shows up, and it's hard for me to really describe to you what a new coach's face looks like when a walk-on or equipment manager comes into his office and says that he wants to play on his football team, and oh, by the way, I've already had 2 ACL tears. But besides that, he gave me a shot, and I went out to spring ball, and I like to say that there was someone was waiting there to give me a shot at a great comeback story, but at the start of spring ball, they put me 6th on the depth chart. They even had me behind this guy who was probably 50 pounds lighter than me and had scrawny arms. So they really didn't want to give me a shot. And 2 weeks went by in practice, and I never got an opportunity to play. Here I am after 2 injuries, rehabbing, coming back, trying to chase a dream. So I decided I'm going to quit. But before I do this, I'm going to go and talk to the coach, and I'm going to go to the office, and I'm going to ask for an opportunity. So I went there and I asked him, just give me an opportunity to play. And to his credit, he gave me one opportunity. He said, I'm going to give you one play tomorrow to show what you got. And on that play, I remember it like it was yesterday. It was one of these plays where the fullback lines up behind the quarterback, and it's called a 42 draw. You sidestep, and you run up, and you lead block on the linebacker to lead the way for a running back. And when they called that play, I went through, and the guy who was there at linebacker at the time was this all-SEC guy. He was about 6'4", 250, and when I hit him, it was like, boom! And in that moment, the crowd of players around me just erupted because I hit this guy and I drove him back about 10 yards. And the coach looked at me when I came back to the huddle and was like, do it again. So I went back and I did it again. And I did it again. And on that one play, I went from sixth on the depth chart to the starting fullback. And in that season, I was on the front page of the Tennessean. I scored 2 touchdowns, and I had a really amazing season. And I like to say that part of my story was really the reason that I went to grad school. Because if you remember, if you're paying close attention, I got this opportunity my senior year of undergrad. And in order for me to play that last year of football, I made the decision to enroll in engineering graduate school, and I would not have done that otherwise. And after my football career was over, I stayed in engineering graduate school, and I continued, I did research, and I got a thesis. But this whole whirlwind story of chasing that dream, getting injured, and going back to football, it's amazing how when I look back today, what I learned in that process about adversity and perseverance and fighting for what you want, but at the same time, learning about that pivot in life, about that need for a backup plan, and how sometimes this booyah dream that you chase doesn't end up being what you end up doing for the rest of your life. All right, so I went on, after I played football here at Vanderbilt, here we go. Yeah, so after Vanderbilt, I stayed there after football and I got my master's degree. And then I went on to Purdue University to get a PhD. And what really made me decide to go forward to get a PhD was this field of nanotechnology. So when I was a grad student after football, I was someone who was always interested in entrepreneurship. I wanted to kind of do my own thing. I had my life planned out. Originally I was going to play long career in football, use my money to get into business. But when I got into grad school, I found that this nanotechnology stuff, this thing of being able to take atoms and actually put them where you want them to be put, so that you can make things at the small scale, sounded really cool, and it sounded like that was going to be the future of technology. In this one nanomaterial in particular, right here, is a carbon nanotube, and that's really the one material that took me to the PhD. Is this material, I'm from Pensacola, which is like lower Alabama, so I like to make analogies based on chicken wire. How many people work with chicken wire before? All right, so you take some chicken wire, it has kind of a honeycomb lattice structure. If you roll it up, that's what a carbon nanotube looks like. It has these carbon atoms that are bonded together, and it's a wonderful material because it has the highest electrical energy transfer property of any material we know. It passes heat better than any material we knew. So people were just beginning to understand this material when I first came into grad school. So it's something I wanted to chase. And carbon, how many of you like chemistry? How many students here are big fans of chemistry? Good for you. I hated chemistry when I was your age. So keep that love. So I wanted to keep things simple when it came to materials, when I started to get into this field. So that was another reason I worked on carbon nanotubes, because I only had to work with one element on the periodic table. It was carbon. And that was about the extent of my ability at the time. Now later on, I married a chemist, which makes up for my deficiencies. But at the time, carbon was the way to go. And so there are all types of carbon. You probably heard of people talking about the buckyball or the soccer ball form of carbon. There's diamond, like we have in rings. Whenever you ride a bicycle, typically the chains on your bicycles are lubricated with graphite, which is another form of carbon. So these carbon nanotubes are just another form of carbon. They happen to be interesting because their properties allow them. Carbon nanotubes are special because that chicken wire is just one layer of atoms. And when you make materials at such a small scale, they don't have imperfections like typical materials, so they become really strong. Just to give you an example, a bridge like the Golden Gate Bridge, you could take these carbon nanotubes and you could replace the wires that hold up the Golden Gate Bridge with a wire diameter that is 1/10 the diameter, and it will be 10 times stronger. So that's an example of the power of these materials. Next slide, please. So to put it in perspective, when I talk about the nanoscale, if you think about the size of the Earth, next, basically a centimeter, or less than an inch, would be what a nanotube would be compared to the Earth. If you go to the next slide. So a nanotube to a person would be the same scale as this centimeter to the Earth, just to put that in perspective. So we're talking about really, really small things. We're talking about 10,000 times smaller than one hair that we would pluck out of your hair. Next slide, please. Right. However, the thing that excites me about them is that now we can take things so small like that, and we can actually make things that are tremendously large in size. So what you're seeing there is a sheet that's woven together out of all of these nanotubes that are 10,000 times smaller than one hair, so there are trillions of them in it. Yet this sheet, you can see the person at the bottom right for a scale, is used to shield a satellite that's flying over our heads right now. So these nanomaterials move from things that, when I was a grad student, were more science fiction and research we were pursuing, to things that are actually now in space flying over your head and bring value to technologies. Next slide. So what I'm going to give you a sense of why things are different at the nanoscale and why things become interesting and useful. So what's going to happen if, even if, we can make it personal. If I jump off this stage, that's a pretty long drop. Most likely I'm going to hit the ground and roll. If this person doesn't make it to the next building, what do you think is going to happen to them? What do you think? He's going to fall, right? He's going to be dead, right? Unless he's Superman, right? But if you go to the next clip, how many people have ever been walking in the rain and got stuck by a drop of water? I don't think anybody in here. You? All right, so maybe that was some real sticky water. But typically we don't. And this is a balance of natural forces that depend on length scale. So a drop of water will trap an ant, but if you flick an ant off the table, don't look at me because I know many of you have flicked an ant off the table before, that ant will probably just hit the ground and keep running, right? Raise your hand if you see that. Yeah, sorry, everybody abuses ants. Next slide. So this is a matter of millimeter scales to meter scales. So this is just saying that when things get small, this is inertia versus surface tension. The ant is so small, something as small as surface tension of a water drop can completely stop it from moving. Yet it's so small when it hits the ground from a giant fall, there's really not a lot of momentum that causes any fracture of bones or death. Next slide. This is a little hard to see, but this is an example of an application where you have one of these nanotubes that I talked about, and that length bar right there is 20 atoms in length. And so you're looking at actual atoms. And the reason that's important because you can actually do things like pass solar energy into that nanomaterial with higher efficiency just because of its shape being small like that at the scale. It's the same type of principle as before. The physics are changing. Next slide, please. So I get to work with these materials, and they're really cool. I mean, they're really, really cool. I mean, it's almost like a microwave oven. You put some materials in, and these nanotubes pop out, and then you get to study them. Next slide, or next one. Right? And this is an example of how, as an engineer and a scientist, you do these investigations. So you make special tools like this anvil that we put inside of a microscope to compress on these pillars of carbon nanotubes. And they're almost like little bath sponges. They can absorb energy really, really efficiently to try to understand their properties. Next slide, please. All right. So that was my experience in graduate school, really falling in love with this idea that these nanomaterials are first very interesting to look at, but second, they're useful, and we might actually be able to make useful technologies out of them. And I want to share with you today, I do a lot of stuff in my research lab, but in closing, I want to share with you just one technology that we work on that I'm really excited about. Next slide. Next slide. All right? So I mentioned something about solar energy. Right? So the sun, if we could just take a few minutes of sunshine and convert its energy efficiently, we could power the United States for a full year. Right? For a full year, a few minutes to a full year. Right? So you hear all this stuff in the news about oil and international stuff, or you just show up at the gas pump and you see high gas prices, and everybody has some connection to this idea that energy should be cheaper. Next slide. Right? So one of the things you learn in this process of doing science, just like you learn on a football team, is that every work that you do ends up being a partnership. And I want to take that back to what we started with when we talked about the partnership between parents and kids and working on these science projects. For me to do the things that I do in my lab, this is a group of students that work with me to make these materials come to life and produce products. Next slide. All right. How many people have seen this version of a solar energy technology before? All right. So what is this? It's a solar panel. Right? So solar panels are becoming very popular. People have been talking about taking energy from the sun for over 100 years. But one of the things that we should know, and what science gives us, is that no matter how good we do, the best we'll ever do is about 30% or 50% efficiency, depending on how we make these things. So we're always going to be limited in our performance. Next slide. So there's a different way. Does anybody under the age of 18 have an old-fashioned radio? No? Oh man, you're missing out. So this thing, you in the back. You guys have a radio? So if you have a radio, how do you get a better signal on your radio? What do? So you change the channel, you move it around. Is there anything else you do? Would you get a better signal if you're outside or inside the house? Outside. Why is it that you get a better signal when you're outside? Walls blocking the cell signals. Can be coming from the sun or somewhere out there. I hear an antenna over here, right? So someone said antenna. So basically, you have this antenna on these old radios that they receive a signal from these towers and things like that. Well, lo and behold, you can actually convert energy from the sun that way. You can actually see the sun as this source that's putting out electromagnetic energy, but it happens to be doing it at really small wavelengths. So that means you need a really tiny what? You need a tiny antenna. So here's what we do. So this idea of using antennas to convert the sun is really attractive because that radio that you all have is about 90% efficient at converting energy. So we're already 3 times higher than the efficiency of a traditional solar cell. Next slide, please. All right, next slide. We're going to skip over this. Next, right there. So what we do is we make these nanotubes that happen to be at the size of the light coming from the sun. The scale matches the wavelengths, and we make little antennas out of them. And with these antennas, we can make a structure that, when we connect it into an electrical circuit, can produce power from the sun. Next slide. All right, and it works. And this is something that I can stand in front of you today and tell you that it works. But how many people spent more than a month working on their science project? How many people spent more than 4 months working on it? Anybody spent more than a year working on it? I spent 6 years working on this. I spent 6 years and about $500,000 in paying research scientists using tools, and this is what it really takes. Any breakthrough, your silicon computer chips, your batteries, these are things that have taken hundreds of millions of dollars of investment in people's entire lives to try to make these technologies advance. Just to give you a scope of what research is about. Things come out along the way, but it takes a long time. So if you go to the next slide. Next slide. We'll skip over this, just due to time. So the fact that this works, and like Ms. Greenwood mentioned before, as a researcher, when you have things that are positive like this, allows you to start a company. So this is something that we started out in my lab to try to commercialize this, to make sensors for the sun, to make converters for cells and things like that. If you go to the next slide, please. But we had a lot of fun. And this is the message I want to get across for you today, is that I spent my life trying to chase dreams, and I did not have science and engineering as my first dream. It was football, and I made it pretty far in that despite adversity. But no matter what I've been doing, as soon as I moved over into research, we try to just continue to have fun, because when you have fun in doing what you're doing, you're going to do the best that you can do, and you're going to have an outcome that's going to be the best that you possibly could get. If you go to the next slide, please. And the fun leads to impact, and this is what I'm talking about. I mean, it's when you really enjoy it. My football coaches used to always say, actually they used to mandate, when someone scored a touchdown, they wanted everybody to run into the end zone and celebrate with them. Right? It kind of seems silly, right? You would think you would do that, but when you show at the beginning of camp with people you don't know, people don't do that. You try to do that in science too, because you spend 6 years working on something, you spend 3 months working on something, and it comes to the end and you see the fruits of your labor, you got to celebrate that, because that's something special. That's an accomplishment. If you go to the next slide, please. Now this is a series of clicks here, and I just wanted to click through this slowly, but you can go ahead and click through and I can walk through. This slide is just really showing that when I started my master's program at Vanderbilt, I didn't know anything about research. And what it took my master's advisor to give me a little bit of a glimpse. And so what you see on the y-axis is how we measure our productivity in a research space. It's publications of our work. And on the x-axis, of course, is years. So I didn't have any publications when I started. But after a year or two, eventually with some advisement, I started to have some publications. I moved to Purdue. I got 2 advisors. Publications increased even more. But then in 2008, I graduated with my PhD. And one of the first things you learn after spending so long in school is that you learn how much you still have to learn. All right, I see a lot of heads nodding, right? So you never stop learning. Never stop. And when I started at Georgia Tech, you can see I went right back down, because I was on my own. And I had to try to apply the things that my mentors were teaching me when I was a student. And it takes some time. You got to give yourself time and be patient with these things. But after some time, if you click forward, I got one good student, and that student came to help me. And then eventually, I grew into a group. If you go forward, and then the productivity kept going up. You click forward one more time. It kept going up, and click forward one more time. And right now, that number on the x-axis is about 68. It's out of date. But this is what happens. So a lot of times, people give up in the trough. They stop because they think it's hard. But I'm just letting you know that sometimes you got to be patient with these things, because everybody has a time that it takes for these things to come to life. You go to the next slide, please. All right. So the story of my story is also a story of giving back. Right? I had these advisors that provided advice to me, and that's an important thing too. Is because when you give back, it enhances the impact of the things that you've done. And I have an example. If you go to the next slide, I want to show you this, because this is important for everybody, even those people who are sleeping right now. Wake up. Wake up. All right? Who can tell me what this is a painting of? Anybody have an idea? The sun I hear, that's a good guess. Crater, that's a good guess too. So I'll stop it there. If you can click to the next slide. Hold that painting in your mind. That's a picture of styrofoam. And you're probably thinking, I've never seen styrofoam that's looked like that before. All right, if you've seen some styrofoam like that, you've probably seen some funky styrofoam. However, that's a picture, if you go to the next slide, of what styrofoam looks like magnified 30,000 times over. So one of the things that we do is we work with schools and we take microscopes. And I took a microscope, an electron microscope, and put it in a class and gave it to students to look at materials in an art and science class. And this is what they made. It's, you know, so they looked at these images and then they painted what they saw. And for me, in my research, it has affected the way that I even communicate and write and disseminate the things that I do. So one of the things that I want to relieve you with, if you go to the next slide, is it's important to have fun. And you want to have fun doing things that you feel make a difference. But it's also important to give back, because when you do that, it's not just charity. It's also value returned to you in the things that you learn and get from that. And despite what may happen, and whether you win, I know there were 200 students in the competition today, or whenever it was, and not everybody's going to win first place, but every single one of you that participated should be proud of what you did. If you didn't win, you should think about how you could be better. If you did win, you should think about how you could be better. And just go ahead and don't let anything, adversity, otherwise, stop you from chasing your dreams. Thank you.
Thank you for coming out this evening and sharing your knowledge and your story with our students. And we want to present you with a token of our appreciation for coming out this evening and sharing your wisdom with our students in Clayton County Schools. Thank you so much. Thank you. Now we come to the time that everyone has been waiting for, which is the presentation of our awards. And we're going to begin with our elementary placement awards. And Dr. Cole, if you would assist me in handing out some of the ribbons and certificates to our students, we're going to walk up here in front of the stages while Ms. Greenwood announces the winners.
Okay, so we are going to announce the winners for the Clayton County Science Fair. We're going to begin with the overall student placement for elementary. I am going to do a couple of different awards, so we will do elementary, middle, and high, and then come back to elementary. So if you don't hear your name in this first group, that doesn't mean you didn't win. Please be patient, and we're going to go through all the awards. To receive your award, please enter from the left side of the stage and exit on the right side. So my left and my right. Okay, so please enter on the left and exit on the right. Okay, let's begin. Oh, and by the way, if I mispronounce your name, please forgive me. Okay, I'm going to do the best that I can. All right, so we're going to begin with the behavior sciences category. In second place, from Callaway Elementary, Jalen Moore. In first place, from Rivers Edge Elementary School, Allison Baldovino. Our next category, biology. In second place, Anderson Elementary School, Anthony Bernay and Tony Anani. And in first place, Lake City Elementary School, David Harires Riviera. Our next category, chemistry. In third place, Lake Ridge Elementary School, Lydia Utamilin. In second place, East Clayton Elementary School, Michael Atkinson. And in first place, from Unidos Dual Language, Kennedy Hood. In our next category, engineering. Honorable mention, Lake Ridge Elementary School, Anaya Young. Honorable mention, Lake City Elementary School, Helen Tran. In third place, Brown Elementary School, Amaya Harris. In second place, Lee Street Elementary School, Gabrielle Diaz. And in first place, from Northcutt Elementary School, Miles Gardner Jones. Next category, environmental science. Honorable mention, Rivers Edge Elementary School, Jaria Harris. Honorable mention, Suter Elementary School, Donovan Slack. In third place, from East Clayton Elementary School, Joshua Harmon. In second place, from Unidos Dual Language, Kaylee Inman. And in first place, Hawthorne Elementary School, Anthony Griffin. Next category, medicine and health. Honorable mention, Kiwan Liverpool, Northcutt Elementary. In third place, from Fountain Elementary School, Stephen Akina Labai. I hope I pronounced that. In second place, East Clayton Elementary School, Teron Fletcher. And in first place, Church Street Elementary School, Kennedy Glover. Our next category, physics, honorable mention from Kilpatrick Elementary School, Angela Van and Princess Anderson. Honorable mention from Smith Elementary School, Caleb Cooper. Honorable mention, Megara Elementary School, Kagan Henry. Third place, Lake City Elementary School, Alicia Dunn. Second place, Jackson Elementary School, Nyla Stevenson. And in first place, from Megara Elementary School, Stephanie Rice. Next category, plant sciences. In third place, Deja Dunn, Fountain Elementary School. In second place, from East Clayton Elementary School, Avery Franklin. And in first place, from Mount Zion Elementary School, Tanija Green. Let's give all our overall placement winners a big round of applause. As I mentioned before, we still have some more elementary school winners, but we're going to move on to our middle school overall placement. First category, behavioral sciences. In third place, from Elite Scholars Academy, Autumn Rose. In second place, from Elite Scholars Academy, Chloe Vincent. And in first place, from Babb Middle School, Bernice Pinal Zapata. Next category, biochemistry. In first place, from Rex Mill Middle, Sydney Dean. first place. Next category, animal science. Rex Mill Middle, Michelson Womack. First place. Our next category will be chemistry. Honorable mention, Roberts Middle, Brianna Blue. In third place, from Roberts Middle, Eric Lacefield. In second place, Roberts Middle, Kai Lacefield. And in first place, Rex Mill Middle, Talia Sanders. Next category, computer science. In first place, Elite Scholars Academy, Jamil Bernay. Next category, earth science. In second place, Jennifer Delgado. And in first place, from Elite Scholars Academy, David Egbuna. Next category, energy and transportation. In first place, Roberts Middle, Patrick Bernabe. Next category, engineering. Honorable mention, Babb Middle, Brian Vasquez. Third place, Rex Mill Middle, Joshua Pascal. Second place, Rex Mill Middle, Isaiah Payne. And in first place, from Eddie White Academy, Lawrence Williams. Next category, environmental science. In second place, from Kendrick Middle, Evelyn Redmond and Jacqueline Mendoza. And in first place, from Rex Mill Middle, Robert Smith, Jr. Next category, medicine and health. In first place, from Bad Middle, Thomas Hong, Jackson Doe, and Jackson Tran. Next category, microbiology. In second place, from Rex Mill Middle, Ariana Miller Paul. In first place, from Sequoia Middle, Jay Williams. Next category, physics and astronomy. Honorable mention, Eddie White Academy, Trajan McCrary. Honorable mention, Rex Mill Middle, Anna Uya. Third place, from Elite Scholars, Jared Reese. Second place, from Roberts Middle, Jasmine Sears. And in first place, from Kendrick Middle, Nia Langford and Nia Douglas. Plant Sciences. Honorable mention, Eddie White Academy, Jordan Moreland. Honorable mention, Bad Middle, Yesenia Serratos. Third place, Rex Mill Middle, Timithia Slade. Second place, Morrow Middle, Vivi Nguyen. And in first place, from Elite Scholars Academy, Theo Logan. And as I mentioned before, please do not leave because we do have specialty awards later on for middle and elementary that we have not announced yet. Let's give a round of applause for our middle school winners. Next, we have overall student placement for high school. First category, behavioral and social sciences. Honorable mention from Lovejoy High, V. Un. Third place from Lovejoy High, Tac Pham. Second place from Drew High School, Tatiana Mitchell. And we actually have two first place. So the first place goes to Lovejoy High, Joshua Ojo Asagi. Second first place winner from Lovejoy High, Iodele Foster McCrary. Next category, biochemistry. In second place, from Stillwell School of the Arts, Jasmine Watkins. And in first place, from Lovejoy High, Jason Reyes. Next category, computer science. In first place, from Lovejoy High, Dagam Behaliu. Next category, earth science. First place, from Lovejoy High, Alan Beatenbaugh and Jared Dixon. Next category, engineering. Honorable mention from Drew High, Jada Young, Xavier Ellis, and Gabrielle Gore. Honorable mention from Drew High, Esmeralda Lyra and Tigress Wynn. Third place from Drew High School, Julia Bustamante. Second place from Stillwell School of the Arts, Wendy Vong and Brittany Chopra. And in first place from Jonesboro High School, Jane Luingze. Next category, microbiology. Honorable mention from Drew High School, Danielle Douglas, Con Wynn, and Darian Cooper Wallace. In second place, from Lovejoy High School, Kendrick Fonseca. Next category is physics. In first place, from Jonesboro High School, Peace Olanaran. Next category, plant sciences. In third place, from Drew High School, Kenny Glish. In second place, from Stillwell School of the Arts, Rachel Tucker. And in first place, from Drew High School, Georgia Antiwi Aja. Please give a round of applause again for our high school winners. Next, we have specialty awards. The specialty award is usually awarded by an organization based on, not necessarily it's the top prize, but it's something that demonstrates that particular topic or concept equally and wholly. And so we have elementary specialty awards in behavioral sciences for Allison Valdovinos from River Edge Elementary School. Our next specialty award is an engineering award, and it's being presented to Miles Gardner Jones from Northcutt Elementary School. We have another engineering award for Gabrielle Diaz, Lee Street Elementary School. Environmental Science Award, Kaylee Inman, Unidos Dual Language School. Our second Environmental Science Award goes to Donovan Slack, Suter Elementary School. We have a specialty award, Healthy Living Award, Kennedy Glover, Church Street Elementary School. Our next specialty award, Outstanding Physics Award, goes to Nyla Stevens, Jackson Elementary School. Our second Outstanding Physics Award goes to Caleb Cooper, Smith Elementary School. Outstanding Plant Sciences Award, Cassidy Posey, Church Street Elementary School. Our second Outstanding Plant Sciences Award, Nia Williams, Rivers Edge Elementary School. Outstanding Student Exhibitor in Chemistry, Patrick Ford, the 4th, Morrow Elementary School. Outstanding Student Exhibitor in Life Science, David Herrerez Riviera, Lake City Elementary School. Please give a round of applause for our specialty award winners. And we still have to announce the grand prize, so don't leave, elementary students. Next, we're going to do middle school specialty awards. Our first specialty award for the middle school division, Engineering Materials Award, is presented to Lawrence Williams, Eddie White Academy. Our second award, Outstanding Earth Science Award, and it's being donated by Fisher Scientific, David Egbuna, Elite Scholars School. Our next specialty award, Outstanding Physics Exhibit, Jasmine Sears, Roberts Middle. Our next award, Outstanding Sustainability Award, Robert Smith Jr., Rex Mill Middle. Plant Sciences Award, Vivi Nguyen, Morrow Middle. And our last specialty award for middle school division, Women Geoscientists Award, goes to Jennifer Delgado, Babb Middle. Please give a round of applause for our middle school specialty award winners. As before, middle school, we still have the grand prize to announce, so please remain. Next, we're going to announce the high school specialty awards. For Outstanding Earth Science Exhibit, Alan Beatenbaugh and Jared Dixon from Lovejoy High School. Engineer Materials Award, Jane Lugonze, Jonesboro High School. Excellence in Computer Science Award, Dom Bahaliu, Lovejoy High. And our last specialty award for the high school division in Behavioral Sciences, Ayodele Foster McCrary, Lovejoy High School. Please provide a round of applause for our high school specialty award winners. Our final awards for our elementary division is the Grand Prize Novice Division. I will ask that the winners of this award to please remain on the stage after you receive your award for a group photo. From Rivers Edge Elementary School, Allison Valdovinos. From Lake City Elementary School, David Herrera Riviera. From Unidos Dual Language, Kennedy Hood. From Northcutt Elementary School, Miles Gardner Jones. From Hawthorne Elementary School, Anthony Griffin. From Church Street Elementary School, Kennedy Glover. From Agara Elementary School, Stephanie Rice. And from Mount Zion Elementary School, Tanija Green. Please give our elementary students, grand prize winners, a large round of applause. We are very proud of you. Thank you. You guys can go. Okay, so next we're going to announce our middle school state representatives. These students will go to state and compete on behalf of Clayton County. Once again, I ask that once these winners receive their award to remain on the stage for your group photo. Also, I'd like to make an announcement. The winners of this award will need to remain after the award show for about 10 minutes to go over necessary paperwork that we must submit for the state winners. Once again, the names I'm about to announce will need to remain for about 10 minutes after your awards program ends to complete necessary paperwork for them to go to state to compete. And let's announce those winners. From Bath Middle School, Bernice Pinon Zapata. From Elite Scholars Academy, Chloe Vincent. From Rex Mill Middle, Michelson Womack. From Elite Scholars, David Egbuna. From Eddie White Academy, Lawrence Williams. From Rex Mill Middle, Isaiah Payne. From Rex Mill Middle, Robert Smith Jr. From Kendrick Middle, Nia Langford and Nia Douglas. From Roberts Middle, Jasmine Sears. From Elite Scholars Academy, Theo Logan. And from Morrow Middle, Vivi Nguyen. Next, and if my middle school students can stay on the stage, we have another presentation. We have Dr. Sen Benham from the Clayton County Rotary Club to do a presentation.
Hello, this is Sambandha from Lake Spivey, Clayton County, and we like to encourage these students. And Lake Spivey Rotary Club congratulates you for the outstanding projects that you had presented. You have been selected as one of the 2015 Lake Spivey Rotary Scholars. We like to honor these middle school winners. National Science Foundation and the federal government are working last 25 years or more to increase the talents in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and you are all working towards that. And locally, Lake Spivey Rotary Club is dedicated to encourage and recognize our Clayton County STEM scholars. We request you to join us for the breakfast in our Rotary Club on Wednesday, March 25th at 7:30 a.m. We like to honor you, congratulate you, and also give you certificates, gifts, and a trophy. We want you to keep up with a good job. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And now for our state representatives for the high school. As I stated before, junior and senior state winners, please remain after to meet with Dr. Robinson to complete important paperwork necessary for you to compete at the state level. From Lovejoy High School, Ayodele Foster McCrary. From Lovejoy High School, Joshua Asagi. From Lovejoy High School, Jason Reyes. From Lovejoy High School, Dagmam Behaliu. From Jonesboro High School, Jane Louise. From Stilwell School of the Arts, Wendy Vaughn and Brittany Chopra. From Jonesboro High School, Peace Alanaran. And from Drew High School, Georgia Antiwa Ajay. Please give a round of applause for our state representatives. Thank you.
Thank you, parents and students, for another successful Clayton Regional Science and Engineering Fair. We appreciate your participation this year, and we hope you all have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for coming out.